Once again, we find ourselves in the wilderness between series of Doctor Who. We're not due anything until the 60th anniversary rolls around in November later this year, so all we can do in the meantime is theorise, write a wish list, and go back to watching the first Russell T Davies era whilst listening to Escaping Castebris as you go. Hint, hint. So today I figured I'd throw my hat into the ring as to what we'd like to see, and perhaps more importantly, not see, as we gallivant into this new era of Who, lovingly titled RTD2. So, no more nonsense, here's what I've got. Elephant in the room to kick things off, the Timeless Child arc. I figured it best to get this one out of the way first. The Chibnall era brought a lot of things to the table, the biggest of them being pretty much unwarranted. We had the answer to the question no one asked, what happened before Hartnell? The TLDR here is that the Doctor was the fundamental origin of the Time Lords as we know them, regenerative powers and all. The Division were an elusive spin-off supergroup shaping the universe around them for centuries, so much for not getting involved, eh Gallifrey? And the Doctor did do some of their dirty work as a previous incarnation, introducing the Fugitive Doctor. As I've said countless times before, this whole thing wasn't entirely realised, with the lack of concrete narrative grounding passed off as simply being mysterious. I put it best during my Series 13 review back in 2021. Mystery is mystery, but not having the grounding behind something so big in the grand scheme of things isn't mystery. It's bad writing. So what is Russell to do? Ignore it? Well, that approach has almost already started. Since the Doctor dropped the all-knowing fob watch into the depths of the TARDIS, we've heard nothing since. It has been made irrelevant by the actions of the characters in the show. They moved on. We have been visually instructed to forget it happened and also move on. As I've said before, a Whovian hive mind retcon. So perhaps Doctors 14 and 15 should just get on with their respective lives. We'll pretend we didn't hear anything and continue with the character narrative we know. It might sound like an easy, yet deplorable fix, but don't forget, we did the same thing when the Doctor revealed he was half human in the 1996 TV movie. Notice how that went entirely by the wayside.
I'm half human. On my mother's side.
Explain what happened to the universe. Character development aside, if the universe was supposedly destroyed by a cataclysmic event, surely there'd be some evidence of it? Well, after the flux tore through existence, reduced entire galaxies to rubble and then fucked off into this large lad, life simply went on. Did we see the destruction reversed through some timey-wimey nonsense? No. Did we also see any real ramifications? Also no. Admittedly, if we do go ahead with this Timeless Child / Division retcon, this battered universe hypothetically wouldn't be seen anyway, because we're ignoring it. But if not, Russell has some pieces to pick up. Perhaps we will see a broken universe with storylines either emanating from or at least referencing the Havoc. Either that, or we'll have a straightforward, somehow Palpatine has returned explanation as to how things went back to the way they were. So, is Gallifrey really gone? One more thing on destruction on a massive scale. After literally every Doctor we knew of at the time made the effort to save Gallifrey from amidst the Time War, Ko-Sharmus decided to nuke the fucker into oblivion after the Master thought Time Lords and Cybermen should get it on. But similar to the aforementioned Master, Cybermen, Daleks, Weeping Angels, whatever recurring characters you like, you name it, nothing ever stays dead in Doctor Who. Plus, I wouldn't say Gallifrey went out on a high. It was an easy fix to a potentially devastating problem. Why have the Doctor do something clever to save the day when you could simply blow the issue to smithereens? So are we looking at another bubble universe? Will the remnants of the Time Lords, if any, migrate to another planet and make a new Gallifrey? Did the High Council build a decoy capital on an uninhabited planet to trick the Master after they found out he was pissed? Or is Gallifrey actually deadsies this time? For good? Who knows? No more universally significant companions. Moving on to more character-related things, we know Millie Gibson is portraying Ruby Sunday in the upcoming 15th Doctor era, and obviously I'm excited to see what she's going to be like. However, there was a trend during the pre-Chibnall era of companions being too gosh darn important, and I'm really hoping it doesn't make a resurgence. Sure, I've defended the Bad Wolf arc, go and watch my Series 1 retrospective. If you don't, I'll file you against those who skip 9, but the idea of whoever entering the TARDIS needed to have some huge importance to a particular story arc, character, or even to the show's fundamental DNA got real old, real quick. Martha was the woman who walked the earth, though no one bar those on board the Valiant knew about it. The Dr. Donna arc, while not being bad in and of itself, was framed dreadfully. I mean, Dr. Donna. For a recurring terminology motif that was really lazy. Amy and Rory were the parents of River Song, spoilers, and Clara Oswald with her sickening overconfidence and all was basically fundamental to the Doctor's entire existence, playing a part in all of their successes and failures. That one stings more so since you all know my thoughts on Clara. The point is, we don't need Ruby to be someone super special. If anything, it makes the character far less relatable. People enjoyed Bill Potts and arguably the Chibnall era companions because they were normal people, living normal lives and bailing as and when they felt. Putting footage here of Dan leaving in the power of the Doctor because Christ, that still is so surprisingly anticlimactic. Long story short, make Ruby awesome. I'm sure she's going to be great, but for lack of a better word, unimportant. Don't make her the crux of whatever arc we're getting come series 14 and beyond. Finally, ground things again. Speaking of story arcs, it always feels like the stakes need to get higher and higher. It's going to be tough to match the Time War, the eventual trek to Trenzalore, and the rediscovery and borderline mutiny on Gallifrey. They were solid and memorable arcs to explore. The Cyberlords, Gallifrey's repeat destruction and shakily produced flux didn't quite stick the landing. Oh yeah, and the Timeless Child thing. Basically, there's no real harm in keeping things relatively straightforward and grounded for at least a little bit come the new series to get people back on board. While many abandoned ship when Jodie Whittaker debuted back in 2018 and many more did as the years progressed, it's safe to say that many are tentatively creeping their way back onto the Whoniverse scene since Russell's back in charge and we've got David, at least for a short time again. That was a genuinely genius casting choice to get bums back on seats, that is for certain. Also, the aforementioned Series 11, amidst all of its shortcomings, welcomed new viewers in with open arms since it framed itself as a solid jumping on point for the franchise. While it's definitely true that it didn't bog viewers down with the expectation of people knowing the Whoniverse to make the narratives make a lick of sense, it also didn't retain as much viewership as they'd hoped by the end of the year. Regardless, its hearts were in the right place. And that's really the point I'm trying to make here. Go back to basics. Russell is in a position to not only bring returning fans back, but welcome new people in who simply haven't bothered with New Who up to this point and are simply jumping on the hyperspeed hype train. Hell, he did it really well in 2005 getting people on board, plugging my Series 1 video again, and I'm pretty certain he can do it again. Now, Series 14 is currently in production as we've seen from the location shoot photos all over Twitter, so whatever Russell's cooked up so far is what we've got. I can really only hope that he's done the things I've suggested here, but even if he doesn't, as I've said before, I do have faith. Russell's work has only gone from strength to strength after leaving Doctor Who back in 2009, so he very much was in a prime position to take the reins once more and give us another, hopefully, 5 odd years of excellent time and space gallivantery. But those are just a few things that I've had on my mind regarding the future of Doctor Who. I know I could have done a bring back this specific character or villain, but I'd like to keep things more broad as to not get my or your hopes up too much. But still, what would you like to see or not see when David and Ncuti are at the TARDIS controls? I always read them, so please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I've got more videos on the way between now and when the show returns for the 60th, I can actually promise you that. But thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.